What up, cappers, gamblers, punters, hustlers, low baggers? Tuesday, May 7th, 9:01 a.m. here in Costa Rica, 11 a.m. in New York City, 8 a.m. in Los Angeles, California. Welcome to Betting with the Bag. Thank you to all the cappers who've joined us this morning. It has been a tough start to May. Got crushed in NHL last night. Man, I thought that under was coming in San Jose, Colorado, and then having San Jose score late to screw the under was going to be okay if San Jose had won the game. Now my futures are in peril, and it's very uncomforting. Very, very uncomforting. The Rockets took care of business, so our futures there are still in peril, but are looking better than they were, tied 2-2. But the Celtics took it in the drink hole. If you want the Celtics to come back in this series, you get 25-1. 25-1. Thinking about maybe putting $100 on that to give me a little bit of hope. But man, you have to go into Milwaukee. Milwaukee certainly seems like they're in control right now, but with the way Kyrie Irving's playing, of course they're in control. Man, Marcus Smart comes back, does very little. It's tough time for Celtics fans all over the place. And MLB, so there's always, as I tell you guys, there's one capper who sticks in my head, and Russell Gordy, not the first time he stuck in my head. Russell Gordy in baseball said because there were three huge favorites last night. Huge favorites. Enormous. And it was what? The Indians, the Red Sox, and the Cubs. All minus 250 to minus 300. Russell Gordy said, I'm telling you, two of those teams are going to lose. Two of the dogs are going to win straight up. All three of them did. All three of them did. And if you took them all three, just on the -1 line, all you need is one to cash huge. Now, if you took them all -1, the Marlins would have pushed, but everything else would have been heyday. And we just have to be looking for more dogs, and I think that's something that's hurting me in Major League Baseball. But first out, shout out to everybody in the chat. We got Demetrius Miller, Joe Rich Ramirez, Brandon Lugo, Brewski311 says, you loving the over in the Reds game today? I feel like it's a great spot. I was surprised it's only 8.5. We will get to all that. We're going to be joined by Parlay Poppy here in 7 minutes. Going to go over the NHL game, and we're going to see what his MLB looks are. Then we're going to have Drew Martin joining us. He went 3-0 on yesterday's show. He'll be joining us later in the show. So I would like to touch on the NBA games quickly, because I'm not sure how much time we're going to have to do that. So I'd like to touch on NBA just before Parlay Poppy joins us. And then on the late show, King Rail will be with us. We will hammer that NBA card because it looks juicy right now. We got Randy Lockhart in the house. Matt Randall says, what up, y'all? Taint 5-play win streak came to an end last night. Back at today, 27-1. That's a pretty spectacular record for the Taint play of the day. We got Strategic Investments, the Sweaty Butcher, Walla Dose. Says Twins, Yanks, easy 2-team casher, time to get more. Eric Nisbet said, I pounded the over 211 and Sixers wraps. I'm hoping for buckets. Let's eat. Eric Nisbet, the question is, and it's this simple for that bet. Is Pascal Siakam, because he's not on the injury report, is he better? And is he going to get the run of the play? If he does, it goes over 211.5. If the Raptors go with Gasol and Ibaka, it goes under. So we have to make a decision as to what we think Nurse is going to do, because clearly the one thing that happens with Ibaka and Gasol is we don't get pushed around. We don't get beaten up on the glass, but everything slows down. So in all honesty, I'm actually feeling a first half over, full game under, but I almost never make those bets, but I'm considering it a lot right now. All right, we got Gabriel Hernandez, Jeff Joseph. Said, finally nailed my under parlay with Bruins Jackets under and San Diego game under. Thanks to all low baggers. Great job, Jeff Joseph. That was a play that Drew Martin was on as well. I wish I had grabbed it. Drew Daddy says 10 a.m. in Chicago. Shout out to Drew Daddy. And we got Angus Finley in the house says morning bag, long time listener, but only posting for the first time. Angus Finley, thank you. I needed a little spark today. I needed a spark. I'm depressed and having a rough May. I'm still not fully over the Derby, although I listened to a bunch of podcasts from thoroughbred handicapping experts, specifically Matt Bernier, trying just to find some guidance through it all. Not that I need to know if it was a right call, but let's just get through it. And Angus Finley is going to be the spark that does it. Thank you, Angus Finley, for taking the time to write down in our chat, but also for being a long-time listener, Angus Finley. Thank you, my friend. We got Paco Healy straight out of San Diego, Brian Watson, Dom Ricci straight out of NYC. We got Ricky Bobby. We got Elliot V. We got Yo-Yo Street Super Cisco. Says, great week. Was going to stop playing, but I still have the itch. I'm happy for you, Frankie, because it's not going that way for me at all. Look at that, Angus Finley, born and raised in White Rock, BC, now capping from, I don't even know, I'm going to say Wakatani, New Zealand. Wow, look at that, Angus Finley, from the Rock, too. We got El Duque, says the Derby was the most corrupt thing I have ever seen. We got CT Bays, we got Aloha, Isai Rolla, and that's Red Girl, Douglas Robinson, Melvin Batanzas, Carlos Perosh, and his cheesy balls. We got Crane Game, Von Polo, Randy Lockhart says, Jimmy, I got the MMA fight guy analyst. He went 16-1. He wants to give out his card this week on your show. You know, Randy, I've had a couple guys reach out to me, and listen, we have our guy, and whom we love dearly, Anna Merrick, and he's coming off taking it right in the brown eye, and this is not the time that we go away from him. We need everybody to know that you can have a rough card and we don't just annex you from the show. Now, Randy Lockhart, I'd love to hear who this guy is, and maybe we can talk about it in the future. But this week, more than ever, we need to more than ever stick by our guy, Clint. He got it and hightailed it, and we took it hard. And more than ever, we have to stick by him. So I'm telling you, this week, Anna Merrick is going to be our MMA UFC fight guy. He's going to bounce back, and low baggers stick together. Now, I'd be interested. We also have Harrington Nick, who I've been talking to, who wants to be a part of it. I'd love to hear who it is, Randy Lockhart. But now more than ever, we stick by Anna Merrick. We got Moses Alvarez, Lance LaRose, Alex Ramirez, T-Money, the fight analyst. Maybe is that who you're talking about, the fight analyst? But he hit me in the DM. We got Richie Rich, Viper, NB. Don Reach said, bang that over Sharks 4-3. They lost on. Yeah, I saw your record. I was happy that you ended up. I ended up down. But, yeah. Oh, God. Okay. Gate Pass Key in the house. Don Ricci says, yes. Yeah. You know how. There he is right there. There he is. You know that. No, don't ever question that. You are our guy. And we need you this week more than ever. So don't even think twice about that. Dad Fence says, but yes, Randy Lockhart, we can be in touch. And there's Miss J. Said, Jimmy, I covered my Derby money with my Brewers. Nationals got in town late. I jumped on my guys. Great job, Miss J. Great job. There's Russell Gordy. There is Russell Gordy. I gave him a shout out in the early show. You know, Russell Gordy, it's not even your fade the big names. Because the Scherzer first five pushed. I mean, he didn't pitch that well. And in Tampa Bay, Snell was spectacular. It wasn't that. It was you taking those Giant Dogs. I found that they go 3 for 3, the Giant Dogs, and you trusting that, believing in that. I agree with that. We got Born in 94 right there. Okay. Carlos Pro says, if you were the owner of Maximum Security, would you run in the Preakness? Your horse was the best in the horse and Derby. Under no circumstances would I run in the Preakness. Why would you bring your horse back 2 weeks later? It's very dangerous. This Triple Crown is a problem. It's a problem. We should not have 20 horses running in the Kentucky Derby. There should be 14. And that will not happen. But there shouldn't be 20 horses running. It's dangerous. And then you shouldn't run them 2 weeks later in the Preakness. That's why there was no Triple Crown winner for 37 years, because we shouldn't be doing that to them. And if you don't win the Kentucky Derby, you should not bring your horse back 2 weeks later. Now, if you feel like, I can understand why an owner would do it, if they feel like their horse is ready to roll, but no, absolutely not. Maximum Security should not run 2 weeks later. And it sounds like maximum security's not even going to run in the Belmont. They're going to wait till the summer in Saratoga. But no, I would not run it. Okay. There's my man Vinny. He said hit for 2K win play show with Country House. Great job, Vinny. I guess. And Merrick says your girl Thug Rose main event this week, Jimmy. I know she's the main event. And I know a lot of people don't like her in this fight. And Randy Lockhart, we know that you weren't dissing Randy Lockhart. No, absolutely. Randy Lockhart, we know that. No, don't get that wrong. We know that was no diss towards Clint and everybody. We're a team here, and so Randy Lockhart, you're a huge asset to the team. You probably got a guy that you roll with, that you want to be involved with the team, and that makes us stronger. So no, we didn't take that the wrong way at all. And there's my guy Shadow, says being part of the Loback family is like working for the firm. There's my guy Shadow. Oh, I love when you jump in. Okay, so we've got a ton to talk about, man. We've got a ton to talk about. Deer Slayer in the house. A ton to talk about. First off, we are going to bring in Parlay Poppy, but before we do, I fear that we're not going to get enough time to talk about NBA. So I'm just for a couple minutes going to talk about the Sixers-Raptors spot, and let's just quickly talk about the odds here. Sorry, let me get it up. Sorry, that's Pinnacle. Sorry, let me just get what the movement's been. I didn't pull the trigger on the Raptors as 6-point favorites. You can still get it line shopping. It's now 6.5. This total to me, I talked with King yesterday on his show, and I was like, man, that over's looking mighty nice. But we have to figure out, we have to decide whether we think Siakam is how much he's going to play. I think Siakam plays more in the first half. I think when it comes down to the third quarter and fourth quarter, we get big, we go big. So I'm really leaning towards the first half over and a full game under. I'm really leaning towards that being my move, and not. But the Raptors -6 I do find appealing, but I don't need it. So that's what I'm leaning towards now. Then we have Denver -4.5 against Portland, and that total opening at 214.5, going down to 213. Demetrius Miller took Kawhi points, rebounds, assists over. I get it. I mean, that's just being cashed. I'd be curious to see what that number is right now. Be very curious. Fight Analyst says, good week with MMA with the Professional Fighters League, Bellator, LFA, UFC 237. Yes, and I agree. And there's Anna Merrick letting you know, Randy, that he didn't take it that way. No, we're a team. We're always going to be a team. So with the Raptors, I think it just comes down. So Gasol and Ibaka played together for 25 minutes on Sunday, and the pace considerably slowed. They'd been on court for a total of 31 minutes during the regular season. So, they were making mistakes. Jamal Stone says, can we stop talking about the Derby? Yes, we can. Yes, we can. And so Embiid will likely be healthier than he was in Game 4. And I think we're going to need to go big. So that's my first thought. My first thought is first half over and full game under. And I like it more and more the more we talk about it. So maybe I make a move now. Maybe I make a move now on it, to be honest with you. Let's see, what is the first half movement being on the total? Total first half. It's just sitting at 104. God, I'm going to do this. I'm going to make a move on this. I've been thinking about this game all night yesterday, all morning, and this just makes sense to me. So I'm going to follow through with it. I'm going to make a move right now, and then we'll bring in Blazers Nuggets. Is quite a bit trickier. Jokic is rolling. Jamal Murray spectacular in Game 4. Lillard 28 points in the 2 games in Portland, 19 for 46, 12 of his 16 attempts from 3 missed. McCollum stepping up. I don't expect Lillard to continue to play poorly. So, I'm leaning towards Denver. I'm leaning towards the home teams. But the first thing I'm going to do right now, Nolino says, if you like the over first half, wait to bet the full game over until half. You'll get a better number. But I'm taking the full game under. Oh, wait to bet. You're saying if you like the first half over, wait till the half to get the full game under. Oh, that's a very good idea. That is probably a better idea. Lower East Side Roller so what I'll do right now is I'll take, that is a good idea. That is a smart move, Noli. That's a very smart move. Okay, I'm going to take the first half over and in Philly, Toronto. And the thinking is that Siakam is going to start. And I think by the second half, we bring in the big boys and we slow the pace down. So I'm taking the first half over 104. I'm getting minus 104 at Pinnacle. First half over 104 at minus 104 at Pinnacle. Okay. All right, there it is. First half over 104. And then you're right, Noli knows that's a perfect thing to do. Then in play. Now, one thing, though, is that if you lose the first half over, then the full game under is probably going to cash. So we'll start talking about that a little bit more, the ideology that you're talking about. Okay, so that's going to be my first play at this point. I'm curious about Raptors -6. You know, I do think it could be a close game, a very close game. And Blazers Nuggets, I'm going to win. Okay, so let's bring in our guy, Parlay Poppy, been killing it on this show. I love having him on. Straight out of Los Angeles, 8:15 your time. Parlay Poppy, thank you so much for joining us. How are you doing today?
Jimmy, low bag fam, what's going on? Look, it was a rough weekend with the books. Got a little bit punished. Got involved with this Arabian steed race on muddy tracks where little tiny men ride these gigantic beasts. It's just hilarious. I can't believe what's going on over there, but I took a little bit of a beating. But you know what I can't get over, Jimmy, is last week, so confident in these Bruins, and they decide to show up every single game after that. It's seriously putting you on life tilt, man. I need a second here. Sorry, I'm having a little Tourette's outburst. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. I found that very interesting. Russell Gordon liking the Toronto game over and Eric Jones liking the, Russell Gordon liking the under, Jones liking the over. You know, the Bruins stepped up in an enormous way, and to me, they look like Stanley Cup champions. That's what they look like, and I've seen it before in 2011, and that's what they look like. But let's focus on what's going on right now. Let's talk Stars, Blues, Game 7, Binnington, Bishop. Now, so while we talk about that, let's now put up what has become a horrifying hockey record for me. I lost 4 units last night, a little over 4 units, because I lost my Jackets series. So, Rafa, if you could pop up the hockey record just for transparency, it was real rough. It's been a real rough fucking start to May for me. And there it is. So I'm up now 7.62 units. I'm up under 28 units. So this is it's been really bad. If I went over, I've hit 2 of my last 11 NHL plays, and it's really bad. So I'm upset. And I have the Stars to win the series on the line. So if I was taking let's go full game. Let's see what we're talking about here. If I was just going to take Dallas tonight, I'd be getting a better line at plus. Oh, no, it'd be pretty much the same. So basically, I'm on Dallas at plus 135. There's nothing I can do about it. Bishop hurt himself in the last game, took a shot off the collarbone by Parayko, and he was in pain. He's going to be fine. He's going to be in this game. Now, the big elephant in the room for this game is the Blues have won 2 of 6 home games. They should have all the momentum, but are they snake bit at home? And will this game continue the trend of low-scoring games in this series? Let's see what we're getting for the total. It's 5, and they're not juicing the over anymore. They're not juicing the over anymore that much. You'd get, depending on what book, you'd pick them. So there you go. Game 7, Stars, Blues, and I'm just going to sit back with my series bet and not compound losses, and I'm not going to hedge and force a slight loss. So I'm doing nothing here. Poppy, what are you doing?
Well, it's like a deja vu 3 years ago, right? Game 7, road ice for the team. We saw St. Louis years ago dismantle this Dallas team 6-1 Game 7. But it is 2019, and we have a giant human of a man, 6'8" Ben Bishop in the back of the net. I mean, what's there to say about this matchup? Metric-wise, it's almost ridiculous how evenly keeled this game is. Same amount of high danger shots, same amount of shot attempts, shots on goal, blocks, hits, scoring chances, opportunities. It's crazy. But we got to take a look at the last game in order to kind of understand that score is not indicative of what happened. 1 minute into the game, we get Janmark turning the puck over, getting just a stupid turnover, and Peter Angelo on the St. Louis Blues just dumps it immediately into Ben Bishop, who can't save it in an open net, basically. And then we get a response by our VIP offensive player, Sagan, and he hits it. And it's pretty evenly matched, until we get to the third period. Blues are up 2-1, and we see Ben Bishop get a puck to the collarbone, which was obviously extremely painful. We see him withering in pain on the ground. Somebody gets an open shot, bang, bang play. I mean, you can't take anything away from the refs. That was like 2 seconds. You guys play until the whistle blows, right? The helmet wasn't off, and it's okay. It's an okay call to me. And then we have Ben Bishop go off the ice, get reassessed, put his helmet back on, gets fucking blasted immediately. He was obviously completely frazzled by that, thus ending it with the 4-1 game score. Regardless, it still was very evenly matched as far as shots and hits and all the good stuff goes. Where I think you're going to like this, Jim, because we're on the same side. Where I think the Stars have an advantage is, as a whole team, I think they're 3 to 5% better in this series and overall than the St. Louis Blues. We know that the St. Louis Blues has struggled at home this whole season. They're 1-4 straight up hosting the Stars in the last 5 games. It's tough. It's really tough to pick a side, to be honest. I mean, it's so evenly matched, and whoever in that first period who scores first basically has won the series games. I just think that Dallas has the better, more veteran-savvy goaltender, who is probably the best goaltender right now in the playoffs. We have a little more depth and a faster skating team that can change speeds. They can play low and they can play fast because they have the personnel to do that. So I have a team that's struggling at home, Game 7. The crowd is going to be livid, wild, St. Louis, Missouri style, people getting crazy on whatever they do out there in Missouri. And we have a team in the Stars who are grinding it and getting it done with many different ways and many different weapons. So it's a 50-50 toss-up. I'm getting plus value, plus 115 for Dallas. That's going to be a play for me today. We are going plus 115 Dallas Stars to take Game 7 and to advance to the Western Conference Final, Jimmy.
Yeah, you're going to get much better than plus 115. I mean, it keeps going up. Opened at plus 120, 18-cent move to the Blues, which is what happens in Game 7s. So the worst you can get here is plus 130 at Bovada. The best you get is plus 140 at 5 times. It's very evenly matched. When it's evenly matched, you take the big plus line. I absolutely get it. I get it. So, Poppy on the Stars, is that your only move on this game?
I think that if I'm on the Stars, you got to take the team total over 2.5 plus 115. That's a no-brainer, but I think I'm going to facilitate the overs on some parlays that I'll be tweeting out. But when the Stars are, on the road, they're 5-2-2 to the over on the last nine games, basically, and although St. Louis is trending, this is Game 7. We see a lot of weird stuff. Like we've seen this whole playoffs in the third period, like we just saw versus same matchup on Sunday night. You know what I mean? You see weird shit go on. And we get goalies pulled early, even if they're down 1. We could see guys getting pulled at like 3.5 minutes out. If they're down 2, maybe 4.5 minutes out. So there's a big chance for overs in certain ways here for me. So we'll take a look at that later. I'll tweet some of those out, but there's definitely a good over market here with value for me.
Gate Pass Key says, if Dallas wins, take the over. If you're on the Blues, take the under. Tom Marino says, I'm on Dallas. They came out flat in Game 6 after winning 2 straight. And Dom says, look, we can only sit back and watch with our series bets, Jim. I agree. Let's move on to MLB. What are you looking at on this early baseball? There's no early games, but on this what are your early looks on this baseball card?
You know what I like today, I got a couple plays, but the ones I want to talk about, we're on Texas and Pittsburgh. Both sides of the bats are finally on Pittsburgh are heating up a little bit. We got Sampson pitching. He's scoreless basically in his last 10 innings. We can see that Sampson, when he gets runners on base, he's in trouble. This guy has a bad BABIP. Overall, through his career minors, it's not good. And the thing is, the Pittsburgh bats are heating up a little bit, but I trust him enough to get through this lineup a couple times. He just saw him. He saw the Pirates last week and went about 6 innings, 5.5, I believe, scoreless. Struck out 5. He didn't do a walk. I think he got 4 or 5 hits, so he was good. And now on the Pirates side, we have Brault, bullpen guy who has been a starter and is a lefty. Lefties can dismantle the Texas lineup. But we got to remember that Texas is still 4-4 against left-handed pitching, and Texas is a home team, and this is a road game. So you're like, why are you on the Texas side? This guy's velocity has thoroughly declined on his fastball. The way that balls are getting hit off him from that fastball is way too high, especially from a Texas lineup that is extremely deep on offense. These bats can roll, and this guy's making his debut of the season basically because he's been coming out of the bullpen. He saw Texas last week in the same game. Sampson pitched him, and he did go 2 scoreless innings. But the thing is, I'm getting Texas, who in my opinion is the better hitting team, against a pitcher debuting as a starter who has had a lot of trouble with his fastball, and a Texas lineup that can smash that. So I'm getting a plus 125 line for Texas first 5. I don't want to get involved in that bullpen. So I think that Texas can get 2, 3, maybe 4 off this guy, and I think Sampson will keep it under control for the most part. So that's my look here. Texas first 5 money line with plus 125.
I like it a lot. Let's just take a quick look at these bullpens and see how bad. Texas is just terrible bullpen. That's just an ugly, ugly looking bullpen. But Pittsburgh's bullpen is not that good.
Exactly, but they imploded, and that's why I don't trust the full game on either side. I think if you like the Pirates first 5 somehow too.
Wow, and there's Russell Gordy liking the Pirates. Man, that's funny because I like that look on the Rangers. And so you're saying that the Pirates bullpen is better than the numbers. They just had a short implosion that is, just made the numbers look worse than they actually are?
Exactly. They're inflated, but at the same time, you don't want to trust that. You know what I mean? Because it's still a trend and it's still happening. So you got to see a little bit of a reversal, in my opinion, before you go heavy on the full game. But they are definitely a better bullpen than Texas, talent-wise, 100%.
Wow. Interesting. And Texas has trouble with lefties, but smashes righties. Wow, that's interesting. That kind of threw me for a loop. It threw me for a loop, you just moving to the first 5, and then it threw me for a bit of a loop seeing our man Russell Gordy on the Pirates. That's very interesting. I thought I was going to immediately tail, but I guess I'm going to need a little bit more time. Wow, okay. Wow, okay. I guess I'm going to need a little bit more time to bang this all out. Tom Marino saying Pirates had bullpen injuries early in the year. DJ Big Boss totally agree that Pitt is a great under team. Interesting. And Lamont Williams, max bet, Jimmy's New York Yankees first 5 under. I'm going to copy and paste that. Okay, what else? So I'm going to need more time to sit with this than I thought. I thought I was going to immediately tail, but I guess I'm going to need a little more time. What is next on your docket?
Right, yeah. I mean, just touching back on that real quick, they're still 4-4 against lefties, and they can smash this guy out, based on the type of pitches he's throwing. So that's all I'm trying to say here. But on to the next, we got Minnesota. in the Blue Jays. We know this Minnesota team rakes. They've been really good away from home. They're hitting 834 OPS on the road. So we got what's his name? Jose Barrios seeking his 5th win. This guy's 4-0 over his past 4, and he's pitched these Blue Jays recently twice, and he went 14 innings. He had 12 Ks, 2 runs. So he's looking pretty sharp right now. And Sanchez, I actually like Toronto. They've been making me decent money. But at the same time, Sanchez has gone 5 innings just once in the last 5, and he gets into deep counts against Minnesota. That's very scary. And we just saw them dismantle the Blue Jays yesterday, right? And it's also funny in this series, home and away, Blue Jays and the Twins. The away team wins almost every time. It's crazy, over the last year or so. So that's something to take into consideration for me. But Sanchez could get hit by these Twins. He went 12 innings last year in 2 games, 8 runs, struck out only 7, lots of walks, and it just looks like he's real susceptible compared to Barrios, who's doing real well right now. So if I was going to go first 5 with the Twins, it's -140. That's more than I want to pay for first 5. And I think that anybody would. So that would probably be in some type of parlay. But I do like the Twins money line at -130. That's very, very juicy for me. But at the same time, I think that it's a pretty good look. I don't think the Twins bullpen is that great. They've been blasted before, but they are showing some improvements. But if you're looking for more value on the real, which we always are, you want to take a look at the Twins run line, because of the 21 wins they have, 15 are on the run line. Out of the 20 losses the Blue Jays have, 14 are on the run line. So it seems like a -1 might be a good look. Maybe you get -100 or +100 there. I'm not sure, because I didn't see, or I didn't look at that, but my play is going to be -130 Twins. I'm going to probably throw the first 5 also on some parlays, Jimmy.
Yeah, I know that Barrios' numbers aren't that good on the road, but I do not trust this Jays team at all, and I think they're going to get served here. And I think Sanchez got off to a really nice start, and he's looking worse and worse and worse. That was a great score, getting your -130, because that was available, unbelievably. It's a 20-cent move in the last 2.5 hours. It got down to -128 at 8:44 a.m. Eastern time, which is when you do a lot of your work, right? So you would have got that at 5:40 this morning. So great look.
Yeah, usually cap. Yep.
Yeah, great look getting it then. You know what? Ann said Twins money line is -148. Yeah, it's a -1 is -122. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna take the -1 on the Twins. Vladimir Guerrero is struggling. They're gonna keep him out there and let him try to work through this. Jays have lost 3 in a row, 6 of their past 7. I don't think that's going to end anytime soon. And the Twins are rolling right now. So I'm a little concerned about Sanchez, but I think that he is regressing. He has 22 walks to 29 Ks, 22 walks in 35 innings. Richie Rich says, whole world is on Minnesota. No way I take them. Barrios is not rock solid stud anymore. I'm going to take the Twins -1. Money line -145. That's at 5 dimes. -1.5 plus 110 at 5 dimes. And I'm locking that in. I like it, Poppy. You looking at anything else on this card?
Yeah, I would also take a look at I got a couple plays I'll talk about later, or this afternoon, whatever. But I like Giants and Colorado first 5 under 6. I know that there's been some issues with this matchup before. I mean, Bumgarner and the Colorado pitcher, Santazella, he's been hit. They've both been hit by each other, and especially right now, some of those bats are heating up. So it's a little bit of an iffy bet. I'm not going to make that an official play, but that's just a big, heavy lean right now. So that's what I'm looking at so far, Jimmy.
What a treat it is to roll with you. I like those looks. So he's going to make a decision about pulling the trigger on the Dallas Stars team total over, but he is backing the Dallas Stars at a big plus line. And then come baseball, he's got the Rangers first 5, and he's got the Twins full game, and he may add on first 5. Russell Gordon says, nope, Jays win late. Jimmy Vegas gave us obvious yesterday. The Twins with Twins not today. I hear you, Russell Gordon. You were absolutely bang on yesterday. My goodness, were you ever. Okay, well, very, very exciting stuff. Parlay Poppy gave us so much to think about. Thank you so much for joining us. Where can we find you on Twitter?
You can find me at Poppy_parlay. You know it's Tuesday. I will be taking work up early to be getting lit with the low bag crew, getting Coors Light deep low carb shit, Colorado's Rockies blue can shit. You know what I'm saying? So that is my plan today. And you know what, Jimmy? It's also been a rough weekend because my beautiful now ex-girlfriend of 19 days, Michelle, go fuck yourself, dumped me. So I think after I have my 14th Coors Light and I'm cut off from any more tap, I'm going to take home a very unattractive woman. I'm going to sleep with her, calmly ask her to leave, and cry myself to sleep in my pillow. But we're going to be a lot richer with these play cash bucks. I will see you guys on the late show. Peace out.
There is Parlay Poppy giving you just some imagery for how this night is going to end off. My guy Parlay Poppy. All right, okay, well, let's stay focused here and let's start hammering these baseball games. We're going to be joined by Drew Martin in 9 minutes, but shout out to our guy Parlay Poppy. Okay, White Sox, Indians. Is there a shot here jumping on Giolito? Or are we too late after it worked out yesterday? And what's Giolito going to give us after coming back from his injury? Let's quickly see White Sox, Giolito. Let's go for spreads and totals right there. White Sox, Indians, Giolito. So the total opens at 9 now, down to 8.5. Cleveland opening up as a 153 minus 153 favorite, so an 18-cent move towards the White Sox. Jeffrey Rodriguez has looked good, 0-1, 2.13 ERA, 0.79 whip, and we're only talking about 12 2/3, but he's looked very good. Brandon Lugo says no one can dump the Poppy. Miss J says no, Poppy, no. I like it. After missing 2 starts with a strained left hamstring, he sustained April 17th. Giolito back in action. Gave up 3 runs, 7 hits, 2 walks, 7 Ks, 5 innings against the Red Sox, and that's a tough matchup. Cleveland has always hit him hard, but this Cleveland team's terrible. I shouldn't say terrible, but offensively, they begin the day with the lowest team batting average in the American League. Moncada hit that home run yesterday. Now he was in a big slump. He had no homers. He had 2 RBIs over his past 13 games. He's rolling right now. His Indian team isn't hitting. Carlos Gonzalez bunt single because his first hit in May, snapping 0-for-16 skid. Jason Kipnis gets his first multi-hit game since April 21st. Jeffrey Rodriguez, so it looks good. Coming off a 6-inning start for Columbus. Gave up 1 run on 2 hits against Indianapolis. CT Bay says betting the Indians tough. Started to be lights out. Rarely come back with those weak bats. Whoa, Reggie. Reggie is a bad weekend for a lot of us, Reggie. Russell Gordy says Indians bounce back. There's my guy Topset in the house. Super Cisco says still jumping on Indians. I am going to wait to make a decision on this because I just can't trust Lucas Giolito. I mean, he's just not a trustworthy guy. But do the Indians touch him? Let's move on to Mariners, Yankees. Here we got Marco Gonzalez. Does he bounce back from this terrible, terrible start? Or do we take a Tanaka, who just historically has this Mariners team's number? Even though he's coming off a bad start himself. I know you are, Reggie. We got tons of love for you, Reggie. Lots of love for you, Reggie. Viper MB saying Twins first 5. Good look. I'm taking it. Let's take a look at this Mariners Marco Gonzalez spot. So first off, Yankees are 14-5 in their past 19. Voigt's hammering the ball. Voigt coming in Tuesday, 10 homers, 29 RBIs. He's rolling. Mariners lost for the 7th time in 8 games. They're 6-16 in their last 22. They still lead the majors with 70 home runs. Gonzalez looks great through his first 5 decisions, and then he gets destroyed by Chicago Cubs on Wednesday. Destroyed. So what do you expect from Gonzalez? Do you expect a bounce-back start? This Yankees team hits lefties, 266, 768 OPS. Tanaka, 5 days rest, 7-0, 2.02 ERA, and 8 career starts against Seattle. Tanaka's has Seattle's number, but do you trust him coming off his shortest outing of the season, 3-2 loss at Arizona? He allowed 3 runs, 4 innings to drop his second straight start. Are the Mariners a team to back here? Tomino says Seattle been horrible against teams with winning records. Gonzalez has been much better at home for his career. That's a very good point. Oh, I know, Von Polo. I know, man. So am I. Walla Walla Doe says need to wait for lineups. Red Girl talking about Minnesota money line going all the way up to minus 155 now. Astute Chaos on the Seattle New York Yankees over 9. On point wagers on the under 9. Russell Gordy liking Tanaka first 5. Jim Rome Seduce says beautiful day on the East Coast. Ball's going to be flying. Let's take a look at the weather. 68 Fahrenheit, partly cloudy, 9 miles per hour out to left field. Tom Ricci already took the under in the Yanks game. Mally Miles says Tanaka should be good off 5 days rest. Yo says I like Dodgers. Russell Gordy on Yanks first 5 as well. Unbelievable liking Yanks New York first 5, under 5 at plus 105. Ben Sports 24/7 liking the under 9. So Von Polo on the over, the other guys on the... Oh, and so is Topset, leaning Yanks and over. Jesse Nemeth coming in on the under 9. God, I thought I had a plan with how I was going to handle things, but... Oh, speaking of handle things, put up that shit MLB record for me. It's actually improved a little bit from yesterday. 3-1 with 2 pushes, so... All right. Oh, that's not today's record. That's yesterday's record. Do you have today's? You don't have today's. Okay. Oh, you're right. That wasn't my NHL record. That was yesterday's NHL record, too. My NHL record's worse than that. Okay, why do we not have the records? Of course I sent them. Okay, of course I send them every day. I send them every day. That's all one of the things you can count on me for. Actually, you can count on me for a lot of things these days because waking up at goddamn dawn. Records right here at 4:50 a.m. to the video team. So in baseball, I'm down now 17.95 units. That's right. So my hockey's much, much worse than that. My NHL record is falling apart. My NHL record's February 7th to present, 108 and 123. I'm now up 3.13 units. I have an ROI now from February 7th to present of plus 1.35%. I should have realized that was yesterday's. I should have realized that 7 units is much nicer. Sorry, okay, let's stay focused here. Sorry, just, waking up at 2:30 angry. Want these goddamn records out if I send them in. All right. Red Sox, Orioles, Velasquez versus Hess. Hess gets lit up by this Red Sox team, time in and time out. Bundy and Means. By the way, King Rail, thank you so much for joining us. I've sort of changed my idea with what's going to happen in that Raptors game tonight. So I'm just on the first half over right now. And I'm thinking about full game under, but maybe should in-play it. But I can't wait to have you on the show to talk about that. I just think if we go back to a Gasol and Ibaka, which I think we will in the second half of the game, then we'll slow everything down. Not only because they are just slower running up and down the floor, but also because they've only played together for like 30 minutes of the season so far, so they're not in the right places. They don't know exactly how to handle each other. All right. Red Sox, Orioles. Hess, 0-3 career record, 8.56 ERA versus the Red Sox. Velasquez, 1-1, 2.87 ERA against the Orioles in 7 games, 3 of which were starts. Let's see what we're getting here. Oh, team total over for 104. I like that, Jamal. I like that. So let's see what we're getting here. Red Sox, Orioles, quickly. We're going to be joined by Drew Martin here shortly. Red Sox, Orioles. So Red Sox open at minus 185. 8-cent move towards them now, 193. The total opens at 10, and bookmakers already moving it down to 9.5. They're the only book that has taken them down to 9.5. So we've already talked about Rangers, Pirates, Samson, Brault. We know that Parlay Poppy's on the Rangers, first 5. We've already talked about Twins, Blue Jays. Let's move on to Angels, Tigers. Griffin Canning versus Daniel Norris. This Angels team can't hit lefties. 204, 635 OPS. Both teams were off righties. It's not like the Tigers hit righties that much harder, but they do a little harder. King Rail says, makes sense, Jimmy. So I've already jumped on the first half over 104. Because Siakam's not on the injury report. So Siakam starts. And then my expectation is that Nurse will start getting beaten up a bit on the glass, especially if Embiid's healthy, and then we'll go back to those big boys. That's my expectation right now. Russell Gordy says Red Sox over, period. Harry Dubitsky liking the Red Sox here. Red Sox, Orioles. Okay. Damn, of course. And I put up my record at plus 7.9 units in the second half, and everyone's like, that record is fine. It's not fine. I lost 4 units yesterday. My NHL record's falling apart. Russell Gordy says, my dog, Tigers. Ben Sport 24/7 says, Detroit, first 5, Norris has been solid. Yeah, I like Detroit here. I agree. Griffin Canning, second round pick out of UCLA. April 30th, he debuted, went 4 1/3, allowed 3 runs against the Jays. Norris didn't factor in the decision in his last start on Wednesday, gave up 1 run over 5 innings. Looked good early, but they lost to Philadelphia. East Fan Pork Chop in the house. Love this guy. He's on Red Sox team total over. Hail to the victors. Man, we've missed you very, very much. Hail to the victors. Alex Guerrero says, don't listen to these guys. Red Sox are ass. And Christopher Comentini says Canning is a stud. Yeah, he might be a stud. If he is a stud, second round pick out of UCLA, then wouldn't that be the under in play? Gregorio Ruiz, like in the under 4 for sure in the Raptors game. Under for sure in the Raptors game. I think a full game under, but Russell Gordy says Tigers bats get to the kid. I was leaning first 5 Tigers, but the Tigers bullpen's been fine too. Both bullpens are good. Maybe the under then. Would you guys say the under would be the spot here? Yeah, I hear you, King, but yeah, it's just been a very, very bad month for me so far. I'm not happy. So are we, Rafa, can you get Drew Martin on the line for us? And then we have Diamondbacks, Rays. Now, here's Taylor Clark. It's another situation, and we've seen this so often where we have a pitcher coming out of the Pacific Coast League, and here we have Taylor Clark coming out of Reno, 6.12 ERA, but we know how balls just fly out. That's just such an offensive league. He comes in, and he looks good. I mean, he throws, it's just 3 shutout innings, but it's against the Cubs when the Cubs are trying to get back, or were they trying to get back? He's the first pitcher since 1969 to record a save and get a hit in his debut. Nikki Shore says, everyone picked against my Bruins the last series. Another great day to be from Boston. Man, you guys look like Stanley Cup champs to me. Russell Gordy says, no, not under. And Hail the Victor said, I still watch almost every day, Jimmy. Just don't comment because baseball is not my forte. I know that's what you mean. Hail the Victor, so great to have you back. Jesse Nemeth liking Detroit in this spot. With the Rays, Stanek is an opener. The Rays just started getting more confident offensively after this last game. Before losing their past 2, Arizona had won 6 straight road games. But do we trust Clark? He's taken the place of Zach Godley. He's been demoted to the bullpen. So, and then also we have to remember with the Rays, so Stanek has not gone more than 2 innings. And who comes in after Stanek is Jalen Beeks, who just went 6 2/3 scoreless against Kansas City. But we know that Arizona smashes lefties. Randy C. also liking the Raptors under. Kate Pasquis interested in the Rays run line or the Rays series. Yeah, so we still have a bunch of games. So we still have Nats, Brewers, Phillies, Cardinals, Marlins, Cubs, Royals, Astros, Giants, Rockies, Reds, A's, Braves, Dodgers, Mets, Padres still to go. We'll see if our man Drew Martin is on any of those. Welcome to the show, Drew, straight out of South Florida. Thank you so much for joining us on this Tuesday morning. How you doing today?
Jimmy, I'm doing good, man. Over the Kentucky Derby debacle, which hit me right in the chops, man. And it was tough to have that maximum security ticket in my pocket. But we talked about it yesterday. I'm past it. I promise you. I'm past it. I'm on to MLB after a good night last night. Hopefully come at it again, gain some units. And, man, best of luck to you as well, Jimmy. Glad to be on.
Thank you. You're coming off a beautiful 3-0 day on the show, so we're very excited to hear what you're on. What's the first game you're looking at?
Looking at a couple here. The first 2 that that kind of caught my eye. Looking at SBR odds right now, we got Miami, Chicago Cubs. Miami's on the road. Won as big underdogs yesterday. Cold weather in Wrigley. Wouldn't have necessarily been on them. Weather looks about the same. Two southpaws right now. Minus 155. Chicago Cubs laying in this. 6.5 being the total, Jimmy. And really coming at this one from the first 5, I like it under again here. Wind blowing in 12 to 15 miles an hour in Wrigley. We know how important that is. Cubs 775 OPS versus lefties. That's 10th in MLB. Considering they are one of the hotter lineups in baseball right now, the fact that they're not as good against lefties is encouraging for the under tonight. Also, Lester's been he's only let up 1 run in his last 3 appearances, and throughout the year he's faced tough lineups at Seattle, the Dodgers, at Atlanta, at Texas. So some ballparks where it can fly out. He's able to kind of work his way through that. Lester is. And on the other side, Caleb Smith, if you don't know about him by now, you need to learn about him. He's been great. He's likely going to be in the All-Star game. The Marlins haven't been good by any means, just 10 wins on the year, but he has been a really bright spot when he takes the hill. Marlins 593 team OPS versus lefties. That's awful. 28th in MLB. I doubt the Marlins are going to put up many runs at all here. I like their team total under. And also both bullpens have been taxed a little bit, Jimmy, so I would stay away from the full game. And I like it more first 5 under 3.5. Chicago Cubs, Miami Marlins.
First 5 under 3.5. That does seem to make sense. We got heavy wind coming in too, up to 13 miles per hour at some books. Let's see what we're doing with this total here quickly. There we go. Totals. First half. Another low total, but 2 pitchers who... So, question, do you trust John Lester? I know easily against this Marlins lineup, but just moving forward, is he a pitcher that you trust?
Yeah, I mean, I like recent performances with starting pitching, with pitching overall. And, you know, when we talk about not trying to pick the point where somebody's going to do better, his last 3 appearances, he's let up 1 earned run. He's going against one of, if not the worst lineups in baseball that also add on to that struggles against lefties. I could see him having a lot of success. The wind blowing in his home ballpark, I think it sets up very well for him tonight. And mainly against this Marlins lineup, man. I like their team total under, but even more so, I like this first 5 under 3.5. We got Caleb Smith on the other side. So yeah, to answer your question, I just see it as a positive night here for John Lester and this under.
Yeah, I like it. I mean, I'm sort of with Joe Licari about being uncomfortable with these low numbers, but you smashed it yesterday very easily, doubling up on that very low under in San Diego. So I get it. I'm not sure if I'm going to immediately tail, but I get it. What else are you looking at?
Yeah, man, and I've been like that a bunch, and not to say that it can't lose. It's just like, you know, high totals in college football where they're going up and down. I just always tell myself not to be scared of low numbers. Like last night, man, these 2 pitchers dominating the opposing lineups, and sometimes, you know, the number's low for a reason. So hopefully that's the case here. Miami, Chicago Cubs. Another one that I like here, Washington, Milwaukee. Gonna go back to the bank, man. The Brewers again catching the underdog at home against the Washington Nationals. And as you know, the Washington Nationals lineup, all kinds of banged up. We got Soto, Zimmerman, Trey Turner, Matt Adams, all out of the lineup. I'm probably missing some guys. You just named names. They're likely injured for Washington at this point. Strasburg, he has been good, but just like yesterday, Scherzer was the better starting pitcher. It's about bullpens a lot of the time, and especially Hauser on the other side for Milwaukee. He doesn't have a lot of major league stats behind him. He actually struggled, I believe, his first time out, but 95 plus miles per hour here, a round 2 draft pick. He's pitched a lot out of the bullpen, but I could see him getting 5-6 innings here. 1.27 ERA, 23 strikeouts, Jimmy, only 4 walks in AAA. He's been dominating AAA now. He's making the move up starting tonight. Josh Hader's also available from the bullpen, so I think a lot sets up here. We get the better lineup. Remember, Christian Yelich is back in the Milwaukee lineup, so we get the better lineup, the better bullpen, plus money with the home team. I'm trying to keep it simple here, man, and I'm back on the Milwaukee Brewers tonight, plus the points.
Yeah, I could understand that. I could understand that. Do you know a lot or much about Adrian Hauser, the starter? I mean, he's only gone 5 1/3 in the major league level this year, and I haven't studied him. I haven't gone to Baseball Reference and studied him at all. Do you know much about him?
Yeah, I mean, round 2 draft pick. He's going to light it up, as far as velocity goes, 95, 96 miles per hour. And his AAA numbers, he's been lights out. He's dominated. So, you talk about, limited time in MLB against these MLB lineups, but in AAA, I mean, under a 1.3 ERA, over 20 strikeouts to 4 walks so far. So, I mean, everything points towards it being a positive start here. But again, it can be volatile, making the step up to the major leagues and getting the start. But, by the numbers in the minor leagues, it points to being a positive start tonight.
Very, very interesting. Yeah, Don Regis says, I'm on fire with Brewers, and I'm not jumping off yet. Mally Mal, Brewers easy, but Russell Gord, he says, nope, Brew Crew lose tonight. What else are you looking at on this card?
Yeah, and that goes back to a bunch of guys in the chat box right now, Jimmy. Like you just said, if it's winning, which the Brewers have been, try not to jump off that train. That's a philosophy that's worked for me, so I'm going to stick with it as well. Atlanta, LA Dodgers, night slate tonight. Fried versus Ryu, minus 140, seeing 7.5 as the total. Dodgers, I think it's a kind of a point here to catch them. They've been really average against lefties, and we know this lineup has been really good, but against lefties, not as dominant. And also Ryu, he's not let up more than 2 earned runs in any appearance year to date, so he's been good. 25 Ks in the last 20 innings, so the Koreans really finding it on the hill. In his last 3 starts, he's been money. That is the 25 Ks in the last 20 innings through 3 starts, and that does include a start at Milwaukee against that lineup we just talked about. Fried on the other side, a round 1 draft pick. 3 of his last 4 starts gave up at least 7 hits, so it's kind of shaky there. But last time out, he seemed to find it against the Padres lineup. 7 innings, 4 hits, 7 Ks, so he's looked good. I think it's another way to kind of point here on the West Coast, bigger ballpark towards the under. I'm liking the first 5 under 4 here. Also add on to that, actually, I already said it as far as the Dodgers just being average against lefties. So they're seeing one here, a guy that they haven't seen much of, a young guy, another high-round draft pick that I think should have success. Minor league numbers good. So I'm liking the first 5 under 4 here.
First 5 under 4. I mean, the Dodgers are average against lefties, 242, 761 OPS. But, man, the Braves smash lefties. That's my only fear. I know Ryu's always looked good at home. And he's had a great start. Look at 39 Ks, 2 walks, but 6 home runs allowed in 35 1/3. Not really Ryu-type numbers. And Noli Nose says, yes, I asked. So Noli Nose jumped in. Thank you for joining us. Noli Nose says, Caleb Smith Day. And I say, Noli, are you on that under? He says, yes, Jimmy, this reminds me of DeGrom last year. Great pitcher with a horrible offense. Caleb Smith Day. So Noli Nose is on that over as well. So those are good looks. So, so you have, and I know you like to work in threes. So it's Braves, Dodgers, first 5 under 4, and then Marlins, Cubs, first 5 under 3.5, and then the Brewers money line.
Correct. I'm on first 5 under 3.5. Marlins, Cubs. I'm on the Brewers money line plus 108 is what I got them at. And then the Atlanta LA Dodgers game, I did bet it a little bit. I kind of just had to fight. I've been coming on and throwing out threes, went 3-0 last night, like you said. Thanks for the props. But it's one of those, I'm kind of feel like I'm reaching for something on that Dodgers Braves under. So definitely didn't bet it for as much, Jimmy. So I'd rather just stick with the first 2 said, Milwaukee. As the underdog in the first 5 under in the Marlins Cubs game.
Very, very interesting looks, and coming off a 3-0 casher. There's my guy Jeff Joseph said missed some of the show. He's on the Jays Twins under 9. A lot of people seem to be. I thought the last time that Sanchez pitched that the first 5 under would be in play, and that was in Los Angeles, and it lost. There's Nick Arcuri said, hey, Jimmy, sorry to get caught up with work. Hit the over first 5 last night. Then the push should have went over. Had so many chances. And there's Noli Knows agreeing with Jeff Joseph on that Jays Twins under 9. Well, we've got to shut this show down, but I'm just curious about a couple looks on this card that other guys are on that I'd be curious to hear what you have to say about this. This Rangers-Pirates matchup, you have a Rangers offense that's much better than the Buccos offense, but they're not good against lefties. 227.03 versus lefties. And then you have Sampson and Brault, who just saw the opposing teams of Brault just for 6 batters. Brault is not to be trusted. Every time he comes up, every time the Bucks bring him up, he gets rocked. I mean, they did this last year. They'd bring him up from Indianapolis, and he'd get touched. So he's a guy I don't trust. In saying that, a lot of people like the Pirates bullpen much better than the Rangers bullpen. I was thinking this was a nice spot for the Rangers -1, but Poppy's on the Rangers just first 5. Do you have any feel or any edge on this game?
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing, Fade and Brault, because whenever he's been brought up, kind of just been knocked around. But you also brought up the fact that Texas struggles against lefties, and that's a stat I kind of can't ignore. It's a stat that tends to have more weight than a lot of other stats in baseball betting, in my opinion. So it's something that kept me off of it. I definitely wouldn't lay the number here with Pittsburgh, Jimmy. But if you made me bet it, I would be on the Rangers away from home here. But the fact that they struggle against lefties, it's something that kept me off the game.
And then a couple of big spots here that I question. First off, Giolito versus Rodriguez, White Sox, Indians. White Sox coming off beating them badly. Indians have no offense, and they're big favorites again here tonight. Do you have any faith in Giolito, and do you have any kind of a lean here with White Sox, Indians?
Yeah, Giolito's been up and down. He's a guy that I've kind of looked to bet on a little bit more than Fade. But in what Cleveland, if I'm not mistaken, I didn't spend too much time on this, but their lineup's kind of gotten cold. One of the coldest in the American League. So it's another one I didn't bet personally, but if you made me bet it, I would be on the White Sox as an underdog here.
You would be on, yeah, I feel that. And then now, can we just briefly talk? I know we got to shut the show down, but briefly talk about what's going on in Yankee Stadium here with Tanaka up against Gonzalez, both coming off bad starts. Gonzalez coming off a horrible start. Tanaka coming off of a bad start. Tanaka has these spectacular numbers against the Mariners. Gonzalez has much better numbers at home. The Mariners still lead the league with home runs at 70, but they won 6 of their last 22 games. And here, do you think Gonzalez could bounce back? Do you think that? Well, how do you have any lean with Mariners Yankees?
Sure. Yeah, my lean is with this market move, to tell you the truth, not necessarily side-wise, but totals-wise. Up to 9.5 now. I agree with that. I mean, I think that both pitchers can get touched up. This Yankees lineup has continued to hit throughout injuries. And like you talked about, Gonzalez, he's been rocked around. I believe his last time out kind of got rocked a little bit. So from 8.5 to 9.5, a full run move now that we're in May. That's kind of, you don't see that all the time. So I would lean towards the over here. It's just a matter of if the number got away from us.
Yeah. And Milo Georgiev says today is not a good day to bet on baseball. And Cody AV asking how Ski Profit is doing. We don't know how Ski Profit is doing right now. It's a family thing, and they're keeping it in-house, which I would be doing the same. All we can do is just send him love and send his family love, as he means so much to us. Jeff Joseph saying, Jimmy, Toronto under parlay, Jays and Raps. I'm going to follow through with it, and I know that my plan in basketball would work possibly better if I waited to add the full game under, if I waited to add it. But this way, the way I see it, if I lose the first half, then I'm going to hit the full game, unless it goes to overtime. But I really feel like Pascal Siakam is going to have a much bigger part in the offense in the first half and much less in the second half. So I'm going to follow through with this plan and not be afraid of it. I'm going to take the full game under to 11.5. I'm getting minus 113 at Pinnacle. So I'm going to take the full game under to 11.5 at minus 113 at Pinnacle. And I'm on the first half over 104 at -104. Milo Georgiev, thank you so much. Much love to you, my friend. Thank you so much for joining us, Drew, and for your insights coming off a big 3-0 day, and I like your looks today. I think that move, that 3.5 is pretty tempting. And I'm talking here about the Cubbies game. And I guess the win coming in at 13, Caleb Smith being a monster, Cubs struggling a bit with left-handed bats. I get it. And I don't like taking these 3.5s, but I will here with you. I mean, we could be seeing a 3 when we come back here at the end. So under 3.5, a -120 is what I'm getting. That's available at Pinnacle, 5 Dimes, and Bovada. I'm going to tail that spot on Drew's card. Drew, where can we find you on Twitter, and what's going on for you the rest of the week?
I'm glad you're tailing, Jimmy. Nice, man. Got at Drew Martin Bets on Twitter. I'll be back tomorrow, same time, here with you, Jimmy. And Saturday and Sunday, we got the NBA playoff show at 11 a.m. Eastern on the SBR YouTube channel. So come join us for that. That's a fun one as well. Feel free to reach out, interact, ask whatever questions you want on Twitter at Drew Martin Bets. And to summarize, got Miami, Chicago Cubs under 3.5 first 5. And I'm only going to stick with 2, Jimmy, and going with the Milwaukee plus 108 is what I got it at before the show. So going with an underdog and under first 5, Miami, Chicago Cubs, and underdog being Milwaukee. So just going with 2, really. I'm gonna cross out that Atlanta LA Dodgers game. So hopefully that's all right as far as record keeping goes, Jimmy. And hopefully everything's all right with you down in Costa Rica, man. Hopefully you're enjoying that good weather, getting to the beach, and able to kind of relax a little bit, man.
I have not been to the beach in months. I have not seen the sunshine at all. I've had pneumonia for 4 months, and I'm very angry about the Derby. I hope that kind of puts that shit together for you, Drew. I miss you down here, though. If you could come back, maybe things would be a little bit better. Russell Gordy, Poppy Longwood, and Christopher Comentini and Steve Cordero are all very, very against that under 3.5 that I just jumped on. And very, very, very against the under that I just jumped on. And that does not make me feel good. But
hopefully they're wrong.
Hopefully they're wrong. Again, it's an official pick here on the show. I guess I maybe need some more time to think about it because I don't like the 3.5s either. Much love to you guys. Thank you so much. Thank you to our guests, Parlay Poppy and Drew Martin. Thank you to all the cappers in the chat. Thank you so much for joining us. We have no afternoon or sports action unless you are following the soccer action. And Angel Romero has come in and said over 2.5 in the UEFA game today. Liverpool versus Barcelona. He says the price seems to be all over the place. -109 and -167. Get it in, fellas. The taint play of the day. Minnesota-Toronto under 9 from Matt Randall. That's 27-1. Our guy Joe Anisi's on the Texas money line over KC Houston. Over 9 for KC Houston. And then Lamont Williams says, my max bet, Jimmy, New York Yankees, first 5 under. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Let's get after it. Leche, Halos Bookmakers!